Hi, my name is Mike Zuckerman, Chief Marketing Officer for Queplix, and today's webinar will be about automating data quality in the cloud. Queplix is a data integration and data management company, and core to our belief is the importance of data quality. You cannot accurately provide business intelligence data, load your data warehouse, integrate two applications or integrate many applications without resolving broad-scale data quality issues. It's key, it's important, and it's essential, and we have it built into QueCloud, our data integration and data management cloud, as well as our virtual data manager. This is not the state of most of the data integration products out there. The two big legacy vendors sell you data quality separately, they quote you for it separately most of the time, and they charge you a lot to do the work. Why? Because it's not integrated in their core products, and because their organization is a legacy organization. They've grown an organization such that data integration and data quality are separate P&Ls or separate businesses, and they don't see the world together. We view it very differently. Without data quality, data integration on any scale just doesn't work. Data quality challenges have now been stretched to meet the new world. It's not just what's on premise in the lower right of your screen, it's what's in the cloud, and potentially it's what's in your new NoSQL databases. Queplix, as an object-based architecture for data integration and data management, creates an equal playing field to work with all these different data sources. 99% of the technology out there is legacy ETL. It doesn't address cloud, it doesn't address NoSQL very well, and the connectors are primitive. They put all the work on you and your programmers to do anything that needs to get done, and this does not make data quality easy for you. Today in our agenda, we'll review benefits, the state of the market, architectures and how they create problems, the quality process, enrichment, reporting and lineage, the obvious benefits of automation and how you achieve it, the architecture for QueCloud, the data integration and data management cloud, and perhaps a little look at some of the system components. Data quality has obvious benefits. Sybase and University of Texas quantified those benefits in a study where they showed a 10% increase to operating profit possible across a broad scale of operations. This was a payback in less than 1 year. It's not just about phone calls and addresses and mailings, which are obvious paybacks for larger companies. In smaller companies, it's about the cost of correcting constantly and re-entering and fixing disparate data across your few key systems. You know, if you've got Great Plains software, Microsoft Dynamics, and you've got a Salesforce.com, and these systems aren't in sync, this creates constant work for you and your team, and that work has a real cost, and that cost adds up to many, many dollars over the course of a year. Today, the market is probably someplace close to $1 billion. It's been growing successfully, but it's fragmented, and we believe it's converging. We believe the bulk of the market will converge with data integration, and we've already taken the steps to put that technology in our product. I doubt very much in 5 years that you'll see perhaps even a third of the vendors left selling standalone data quality products. Why? Because most of those products today are built around SQL, handwritten scripts, and programming paradigms, and advanced data virtualization and technologies like Queplix have automated this and moved it to the business user and the data steward and let them wrap the governance around these activities without doing any programming, and that will force a sea change. Programming removes the tools from the hands of the business users, and data quality of all the tools is one that's essential to the data steward. Core capabilities for data quality that need to be there include profiling, parsing, standardization, cleansing, matching, monitoring, reporting, trending, enrichment, and connectivity to all the data types. Of course, the number one core capability is the ability to implement data quality without programming. Data quality and systems and tools have really suffered as legacy architectures have met the cloud. Most of the tools have lived in your data center. They've been there, perhaps big bulky pieces of software that various data stewards would run. And they're very segmented in their functionality. Some of them specific to mailing lists, some of them are broad-based and look at a database table and look for unique keys. They're very, very different in the way they work, but most of them have not been set up for the cloud. Data enrichment has been available with sources like D&B or Axiom or Hoover's, but most of these systems have been manually accessed until now. You look online, you see the correct error, and then you fix it in your application system. There's a lot of collision now, right? Everything that's been out there has been built for the relational paradigm, and now all of the cloud-based products like NetSuite, like Salesforce, all of these new technologies are really not data quality ready, yet Salesforce has a huge amount of data that's spreading across many enterprises and needs to be managed the same way that we've managed some of the legacy systems. You've got to have good data quality processes, systems, and governance to make your organization go the way it needs to go. A lot of these different systems that you have are fragmented. Some are standalone, we talked about. Some are integrated. For instance, we're talking about it today. Data quality is part of virtual MDM. It's part of Cloud ETL. It's part of virtual ETL. And it's part of QueCloud. While other vendors have built components in, even some of the legacy ETL tools from the legacy vendors, perhaps like Informatica, are delivering some data quality components. But the data quality component doesn't come with an F16. It comes with, a Model T. And those data quality components are still primitive and basic and require a lot of manual work. Data integration makes it more difficult for data quality because when you have two sources that you thought were high quality, but you try to integrate them, you still see the manifestations of what I would call data quality issues, especially as caused by normalization. And these are issues that data stewards have to be aware of, that have to be managed between systems. It's a core component of what you need to do to integrate different technologies. The data quality process itself, I use the term KISS, which we know is keep it simple. We really want to make it as simple as possible, right? You need to measure your current state, understand where the source is. You need to assess it and then make decisions about how you're going to fix it, understand how this maps to your data governance, and then you're going to have to remediate it. So understand it, pick your targets, and then fix it. So the first thing that you need to do to understand the current state is you have to see the data. You have to be able to sample it and measure it and understand it. And in our system, we use what we call a metadata viewer. It's part of advanced data virtualization. It lets you connect to any data source you have, immediately see the structure of it, and start to sample data. And that's the first thing that you have to do to get a sense of what is my data quality? What have I got inside the system? I need to look at it. I need to see how the fields look. I need to see it securely and in a compliant way. But I need to get to all these pieces to start to fix and remediate. And all of this is automated with advanced data virtualization. There's no programming. There's nothing to do. Security permissions, perhaps through LDAP, and you're in the systems you're entitled to be in, looking at the data you're entitled to see. There are very basic qualities and capabilities, perhaps about 8 or 9 that are in our base system that are just the simplest things you do all the time in data quality. The biggest issue is you have systems with blank or null fields. They're just not fixed in the system. And when you have a blank field, the data quality is 0 because you haven't entered data in the field. The next are things like range checks. If you have systems where people are entering dates of birth and the date of birth is 2 years in the future, you have a data quality problem. And these are things you could fix. You would think that most software systems would do this, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them will allow you to enter bad dates, bad ranges, bad syntax, which is the way that you enter the words is incorrect for the database to utilize the data, but it's not captured when you put it in the system. It doesn't tell you there's an error. These are things that our data quality components can fix for you very easily. Mean or average analysis is knowing that the range for data makes sense, that there's some data in there that doesn't make sense. It looks like it meets the needs of the system entry, but it's so far out of whack that you want to take a look at it. Syntax we talked about, the common errors, email, zip, phone, and date. The data quality process, data review. You really want to find if you have unique keys. These are essential and important for data integration later. And they enable you to use that column as a key when integrating either for master data management, virtual master data management, or even for your, building out data warehouse tables, you have to have values that you can use to build keys to integrate all this data. Is John Smith in this system the same as John Smith in that system? Well, the key helps you make that decision, and then you can start to combine columns from different databases about John Smith. None of that can happen without understanding where your key values are, and a basic component of data quality helps you do this. Duplicate records is one of the ugly ones. It's like null fields. Sometimes they happen for reasons of slight misspelling. Sometimes it happens because Ford Motor Company is re-entered as the Ford Motor Company and then re-entered as Ford Motor and then re-entered as Ford. This is a common error, and these errors create lots of problems when you're moving from the Salesforce automation systems and entering your orders of record in your ERP. If you want these to flow in any automatic way, you've got to resolve it. And if you're doing it manually, then the errors abound even more. There's only one customer Ford at this location, not 3 or 4. Blanks and null values we talked about, range check, mean, syntax, duplicate records. Correlation analysis, a statistical function. There are a lot of these. I won't dig into them here, but you should learn more about these and how they can be of benefit to you. Heuristics and fuzzy logic help you with things like misspellings and help you understand where there's a probability of bad data. If you have a bad date or out of range, it's bad data. But when someone's last name is misspelled 2 or 3 times off by a character, it's not always clear, and you need these tools to help identify these situations so that you can examine them closely. Usually these require a human to make a decision, though there are automated tools that will do some of this for you. Now that you've reviewed your current state and measured it, you have to assess it and do things about it to prioritize your resolution. Data governance really defines the rules of engagement, the standards for your organization. Data governance tells you what's important to your organization and what's less important and what isn't important. So you have to sort and organize the issues that you have based upon categorization, urgency, time constraints, and what you think is important. You can't fix everything. I have not seen a single database anywhere that's 100% perfect or up to date, either because all the data just couldn't be checked or some of the errors were deemed of insufficient importance to resolve. It's just the state of data quality. We're driving for 100%, but we usually don't reach it. However, there is a percentage that is more than good enough, and that's what data governance tells us. Remediation, of course, is what you need to do to fix the problems, right? In most organizations today, remediation is emails that pile up and go back to a data steward or someone in order entry or someone in the finance department near your ERP system, and it's sticky notes and task lists. This is the biggest problem with data governance today, that data governance is not automated. It doesn't wrap to the remediation. The trees fall in the forest all the time, and we know, and they're making way too much noise. If there was an automated way to wrap data governance into this process, life would be much easier for us. Reporting is just endless. There's all sorts of data coming at us about bad data quality, but it's reports, and it's very little of it summarized. So people have to dig through it and really understand individual pieces and fix it. And it's just a lot of work for people, entry by entry, to resolve. Enrichment is an area where you could view it as a component of data quality, because if you're adding zip codes from an external database, you could say, well, we're fixing the errors. Or you could just view it as 100% enrichment, where you're adding new data, because most of our experience shows that sales reps never enter the 9-digit zip code. They enter the 5, right? But you can add that. The point is that enrichment can come from automated sources of truth, whether it's done in Bradstreet, which is both available electronically and manually, or others like Axiom and Hoover's. But it can also come from New World sources, second-generation sources like Facebook and LinkedIn. We're working on an integration for one mid-tier company that values the business relationships in LinkedIn, and when there's a change in LinkedIn, they view that as the most authoritative source. They believe that their customers, their B2B executives they work with, update their LinkedIn profile before anything else changes in the world, and so they want that data immediately in their Salesforce automation system. Now that's an example of real second generation, Web 2.0 enrichment, and so on and so forth. Jive is another, collaborative system with tremendous capability and valuable information, and Facebook certainly falls in that category as well. This is sort of how first generation enrichment looked, and it's still good today. Whether you do it manually or electronically, you're pulling in data from a source like Axiom or Dun & Bradstreet, and you're using it to clean up your online systems. Today, with DMB 360, you can automate this. Second generation Web 2.0 enrichment is now we're using the social media and the sources we view as authoritative to update this data, and it works really, really well. LinkedIn is a great authoritative source for B2B executives and so on and so forth, and we see this as a trend that will continue, especially for Salesforce automation systems. QueCloud is a data integration and data management cloud which brings all of the data quality components in the system automated and ready. It can link to on-premise securely. Security architectures vary, so sometimes we have to customize with you to do the on-premise links. But fundamentally, the cloud is here and it's secure. Salesforce.com has broken down every barrier there is. I have been in a multitude of insurance and health management companies that a few years ago said, we could never support a big cloud-based application for reasons of security and compliance, and today they're doing it. And it's a trend that's accelerating and will continue. It is more the rule than the exception, and I don't expect that to change. QueCloud brings all of this together automatically, cloud on-premise, instant connectivity to the sources. Running the system is about checking boxes, configuring, and immediately assessing data quality. Any data type, any architecture, no programming, no SQL. Everything on the dash pops up, and you can click and configure to set syntax and range checks and find null fields, and it happens all automatically without any programming. It will run at a moment's notice or run automatically, and then it will report back to you both current state and trending. For data integration work, you certainly run prior to setup, you run to test your integrations, and then afterwards you run automatically to continually assess the state of your data quality. QueCloud data quality is fairly automated, fast, and very easy to deploy. Here you can see an example of the system screen, and you can see data was exposed from one of the sources. We have a job called Food Mart Employee Quality. And you can see different components of data, and we're checking for null fields, we're checking for range, we're looking for the duplicate values, and there's about 8 or 9 tests right there on the bottom that are instantly configurable that you can run. In other systems, each of them is usually handled separately with SQL and programming and setup. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of bother. This is just instantly connected and instantly accessible, and just part of the integration and operational environment that you have in your organization. It's much faster, it's very easy, and it's highly automated. And tools like this are the reason that the face of data quality is going to change forever. You can automate, and you don't have to have a lot of standalone tools that you program. It's a big sea change, and it's here for everybody now. References, I strongly recommend checking out the website for the International Association for Information and Data Quality. It's a great organization. Wikipedia has some useful information. There are many other fine organizations. And see other website, we have other webinars or instant access free videos. So you have to register for the webinars, but not for the free videos. And we cover many different topics on an educational basis. And most of our data aligns very strongly with industry analyst consensus. You can get a good view of the state of the market. Thank you again for joining us. Have a great day. And if you want more information, email us at sales@queplix.com.